Okay, this is my video for my favorite films of all time. Um, it has about 25 or so films, so not really the shortest list in the world, but with my ADD, it's pretty hard to narrow down, especially given my love of film. So, let's get started. First up is The Brothers Bloom, which I foolishly sold because I was planning on getting the Blu-ray of it, but never got around to it. I say foolishly because it's my favorite film of all time, and I miss it. So, yeah, that sucked horribly, but it's an amazing film. I adore every bit of it. I think that's definitely one of my 10 perfect films. I think it's perfect in every way: direction, writing, cinematography, etc. The score is just amazing. Mark Ruffalo and Adrian Brody are charming and charismatic as hell, and their acting is great as well. Rachel Weisz is great too. So yeah, amazing film. It's kind of bittersweet. It's dark and light simultaneously. Oh yeah, I added some stuff to the wall. Yeah, I have to. It's this weird reverse thing with my iPhone. Shit. So yeah, there we go. And voila. So yeah, great film. Next up on that same vein, Brick. I adore Brick as well. It's by the same writer-director, Ryan Johnson. And, I just think that he's an amazing writer-director. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's a brilliant actor. Just completely, very much underrated. He's only really now beginning to get into the spotlight of, like, major motion pictures, and I like how he doesn't just choose, oh, I want to be in every blockbuster there is. He chooses smart and intellectual blockbusters, especially his work with Nolan, who I think is the finest and one of the most intellectual mainstream filmmakers out there, if not the most intellectual mainstream filmmaker out there. I adore every bit of this as well. The writing, the direction. I love how it's like film noir in high school, how they perfectly blend a weird combination like that. I also really dig the score, which is by the same guy, Rian Johnson's brother, Nathan Johnson. He formed a band called the Cinematic Titanic in the second one. In the first one, it's just him. I love how it's kind of noir meets kind of, I guess, hipster-ish rock, but like in a good sense, not like, oh, hipsters. But yeah, I think that the acting is incredible in this as well. Joseph Gordon-Levitt has a fun little cameo in Brothers Bloom, and the main femme fatale in this has a great little moment in the Brothers Bloom as well. So moving on from there, Casablanca, probably the greatest love story of all time. It's just brilliant. I haven't seen it in a while, but I just remember that when I did see it, it just like blew me away. I loved Bogey. I loved Bergman. Yeah, I'm having to look back. Clearly a love for the film, but I just remember being blown away by the film, and that's really what constitutes as a favorite film of mine. Just like a film that can really astonish me and just show me something new and innovative, which I really thought of this. Even though it's like from the 30s, it's still incredibly, I guess, relevant and an amazing love story. Next up, Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights is a great film, I think. I mean, it gets overshadowed by the fact that, it's about the, yeah, I'm looking up because of me simultaneously playing music on my PlayStation. So, yeah, it gets really overshadowed by the fact that, it's a movie about the porn industry, and clearly it's all about filth, filth, filth. And it's a film that examines that the porn industry is all about filth, I guess, and it's really kind of a negative story about it, and it's an incredibly bleak film. Like, don't I mean the ending is really happy. The ending is kind of bittersweet actually, but it's just an incredibly bleak film overall. This is the first film by Paul Thomas Anderson, and he is just a brilliant writer director. I love how it really seems to capture the 70s and as well as the 80s, and how, I guess, crazy both of those time periods were. Mark Wahlberg's performance is excellent. Philip Seymour Hoffman's is great. Burt Reynolds is amazing. And they've got this one really great scene. This might be spoilers, so if you don't want me to spoil it, I recommend that you pause or mute or whatever. But they got this one great scene where it's like Dirk Diggler, Mark Wahlberg's character, Thomas Jane and John C. Reilly are all in this house, and then there's like this drug lord played by Alfred Molina. He's all like hopped up and messed up on just like crazy amount of coke, and he's just like shooting fireworks. And no, wait, there's this little kid in the background, and he's like just randomly shooting fireworks, and it's like, why is this kid randomly shooting fireworks? And just like perfectly captures the tension, because Alfred Molina is like holding a gun, and he's like waving it in front of like his face, and you think that he's gonna like blow his brains out or something, and then it's just like, holy shit, what the fuck is going to happen? And then it's just like so intense the whole time, and you don't know if like the main protagonists are going to come out alive through this or not. And it's just like that's kind of the climax of the film, but it's just like such a brilliant climax, and like everything's built up to this moment, and just like, because it's like a rise and fall story, and this is like the lowest peak of Wahlberg's character's journey, and it's just like so damn dark. It's like, what the hell is gonna happen? And then Thomas Jane's like all cooked up. He's like, we want the money, and then everyone else is like, dude, don't get the money. And then, oh my god, it's a great film. So yeah, it's incredibly bleak. It's really dark, and if you're into bleak and incredibly dark movies, then yeah, you should check it out. But I mean, it's incredibly bleak and dark though. But the direction of it is solid. This guy Alvin went on to make a kind of rom-com romantic comedy drama with Adam Sandler, which I've heard is pretty solid. I'll have to check out. I also love this film, There Will Be Blood, which is all about corruption in the oil industry and the birth of the oil industry in the United States, which is just really brilliant. I can't wait to see his new film, The Master, with Jake Phoenix. It looks just brilliant. I adore the director, and I also want to see Magnolia, which I hear is also excellent. Next up, Serenity. It's just a really brilliant piece of cinema, which is kind of half independent film, half blockbuster. I say half independent film because this movie was only made because of the fans, and because Firefly was an incredibly brilliant show that Fox never should have canceled. Angry Glare. But yeah, this film was just amazing. The budget was tiny, minuscule, but Joss Whedon, like being the genius that he is, knew how to perfectly exercise that budget and make like an amazing sci-fi film. It serves more as a series finale to the show, so if you haven't seen the show, it might not be as impactful. But if you have, it's just such a brilliant movie, and I don't know, even if you haven't seen the show, you might still like it. But Nathan Fillion is just brilliant. The whole cast is great. I love how Joss Whedon can he is like the #1 ensemble director, because he can make like a great piece with a bunch of different people with a bunch of different personality types and make them all work and make them all mesh, give them all their moments and give them all like great scenes, like the Avengers. Like I don't know, there were like so many cynics thinking that like Hawkeye and Black Widow wouldn't be able to really amount to shit given all the other super powered people in the movie, but I'll be damned if Whedon didn't pull it off and make one hell of an amazing film. Getting kind of low on time here, so I may only have enough time for one more, so I might make this a two-parter. But next up, Goodfellas, one of the most influential films of the 90s, and kind of, I think, the last majorly influential film before the Quentin Tarantino craze, I guess, and before Quentin Tarantino really influenced the industry. Not in a bad or good way, but there just seemed to be a lot of Tarantino wannabes in the 90s who turned out to be and weren't. Definitely would be Troy Duffy and Guy Pearce, or not Guy Pearce, Guy Ritchie. Goodfellas is just brilliant, man. The way that Scorsese shoots like all of his actors, and like he chooses the best actors for the part. Like you could, I don't know, like there's no like really, even the most cartoony character in this, Joe Pesci, is like one of the best parts about the movie. But like all the other characters seem like really real and kind of multi-dimensional, and you can really see. I guess it's a mob film, but it also doesn't, as Roger Ebert famously said, it doesn't really glamorize the mob lifestyle. It shows like a world where like it's built around like killing and just this paranoia that Henry Hill's in because of like all this crazy shit that's going on. Like he never knows like when he could be the next one to die or who's going to be the next one to drop, and just like all the craziness and pandemonium and insanity around it. I think that Ray Liotta's performance is brilliant. I think that Lorraine Bracco is brilliant. I think that Joe Pesci is brilliant. I'll be damned, like the whole damn cast is so damn brilliant. The guy who played Spider, Michael Imperioli, brilliant, and he really got he got a great role on The Sopranos for it too. And Robert De Niro is just brilliant. I mean, like, he just oozes charisma. I mean, you can't, like, even if you're, like, opposed to, the gangster genre movies or, like, whatever, his character is just so damn cool, even if he's playing, like, a complete scumbag mobster. But I don't know. I mean, it's just a brilliant film. The writing is brilliant. The directing is brilliant. All the dialogue seems like conversation rather than, like getting from point A to point B. It seems like real people talking and real people playing real people. And it's just so brilliant. The Blu-ray is great too. I might review that in depth later. But yeah, brilliant movie. I might not get through a complete one at this point. So this might have to be part one.